Good afternoon. How is everybody on this beautiful Friday afternoon? Hope you guys are doing well. Sorry this video is a little bit later than I'm usually getting out, but a lot of things going on right now I'm very excited about, so thank you for your patience. I'm going to try and do a video every single day on here. There's a lot of topics to discuss. I also want you to know that I am revamping my YouTube page, so there's going to be a lot of these videos that will be posted on there, so you guys will have more access to it. I'm just fine-tuning some things that I've been working on for the past 4 months, and I have all my videos made because I have to make them both in Spanish and in English, so it takes me a little time, but I know where my focus is and I know what I want it to look like. So I'm pretty much a perfectionist to a certain extent, and so I like to have things done properly, and so that'll be coming. I already have my YouTube page up, but it's not like I want it to, but it's there. So if you guys want to check out my YouTube channel and subscribe to it, it's Keto Girl Elizabeth, and on there it's all keto. There's Spanish and English videos on there as well. So a topic I want to go over today with you guys are, and I'm sorry if I'm looking down, I made notes because there's always something I forget I want to say, and so I've been writing things down, and now I'm going to actually kind of made myself a guide of points that I want to make sure that I cover. Top 5 keto mistakes. Mistakes are to be made, and that's fine. What we learn from them is the whole point of this whole thing, and just want you to be made aware of certain topics and for certain things that you guys can look out for. Number one, the biggest mistake that happens during a keto diet is that we're not consuming enough electrolytes. And a sign of that you're not consuming enough electrolytes is you're probably going to have a headache, and you're a little bit more tired. You're not drinking enough water, for one. What you need to realize is as you're working out and as you're sweating, salt is coming out of our bodies, and this is why when you kind of lick your lips after a workout or during a workout or something, you taste the salt. That's what's happening. The heavier you sweat, the more salt comes out of your pores, and so all that salt coming out we need to replenish. So it's very important that we put electrolytes back into our body, put salts back into our into our diet, and by that I mean the salt, pink Himalayan salt, sea salt, things like that. So we have to add those electrolytes in. We have a patented type of electrolyte. If that's something that you're interested in, let me know. Just write out the word electrolytes in the comments below, and I'll send you some information on that. But it's very important that we ingest salt or add salt to our foods. Just by adding a little salt to your food makes a big difference. Also, electrolytes can be in the form of magnesium, which is another supplement that not a lot of us are aware of that we need to replenish, as is potassium. So electrolytes can be in the form of a supplement type, or an electrolyte can come in the form of magnesium or potassium. Potassium is huge. If you're getting cramps throughout this journey, I had severe cramps for months and not knowing what was going on until I was researching some more, and finally it clicked. I'm not having enough salt intake, I'm not having enough magnesium intake, and I upped my magnesium. And the type of magnesium that I take is my magnesium glycinate. There's 2 types of magnesium out there, the glycinate and the citrate. Make sure you get the glycinate, and I usually got the 500 milligram tablet, and I would take 1 a day. At the time I was having the cramps, I was only taking 1, then I upped the dosage to 2, and that seemed to relieve it. So make sure that you're consuming the magnesium glycinate, and also potassium. I always took a 99 milligram tablet of potassium daily. That was part of my morning routine. It was a magnesium glycinate 500 milligram, a potassium 99 milligram, and that was my regimen of supplements to take during the day. So make sure you're consuming those. If you're constantly tired, you're not drinking enough water, if you're getting the cramps, you're definitely not getting enough magnesium in your body, so you need to replenish that somehow. And the way you'll know is you have to drink a lot of water. Absolutely have to drink a lot of water, because like I mentioned before, when we're working out and we're sweating, we're releasing a lot of salt, we're losing a lot of sodium in our body, so we need to replenish what's being coming out of our bodies. 2, another keto mistake is that we're not consuming enough fat, healthy fat. And I know a lot of you some have a difficulty with trying to consume the heavier fat or the healthier fats, and I understand that. And some logic can be, well, I wanted to eat my own body fat, you know, and unless you're taking a supplement to provide you with the ketones to be able to burn the fat, you have to eat the healthier fat in order for you to eat your own body fat. We want to change the fuel sources in our body from glucose to our body fat. And as you go along the journey, you'll find out that you're not going to be eating as much, because what's happening is when you're in this state of ketosis, your body is using its own body fat as fuel. In essence, that's what we want with this whole ketogenic diet. So make sure and know that we don't want to consume lean cuts of meat. We want the heavier fat. The more marbleized the meat, the more fat in it, the better. Same with ground beef. Go with ground beef versus ground turkey. The higher percentage of fat, the better, you know, because that's what we're looking for. We're not looking for low fat. We want the higher fat, the healthier fat. Also, the fats come in form of MCT oil, avocado oil, olive oil. So that's pretty much where you can get your other healthy fats from, or avocados, you know. So again, a problem with keto is that a lot of people are not consuming enough healthy fat. This way, yeah, so make sure that you're consuming your healthy fats. Another mistake is that we're not eating enough. You're eating too much protein. For those of you who don't like to eat the meat, you're probably thinking, if I eat more protein, the better. If you're eating more protein, you can spike your insulin levels in your body, causing you to get out of ketosis as well. And it can also cause for constipation. You know, that's just the reality of it. So just make sure you're not eating too much protein. And this again is where counting your macros, and macros means your carbs, fats, and proteins. If you're logging it or you're using a food app, this is where this will absolutely help you to decipher if you're having too much protein or not. Typically the percentages is usually 70 to 75% fat, 20% protein, and 5% carb. That's the breakdown of the macros if you're choosing to log your food. And I recommend you do that for a little while until you actually see what you're eating, and then you can make adjustments as necessary. And again, this is not set in stone, so obviously the less weight you have to lose, the less fat intake you have to take. And so we adjust the numbers as time goes on. But that's a big mistake when you want to offset the protein with, instead of eating your healthier fat. You got to incorporate the healthier fat at some point if this is the keto way that you want to go on with your lifestyle. The fourth biggest mistake with keto is that you're not going to be patient enough. You want results immediately, you know, and the biggest mistake that you can possibly make is comparing your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 10. You're not going to have the same results quickly. Your bodies don't work the same, so be patient, stay your course. And it took you years to gain the weight that you have. It's going to take some time for the weight to come off. Don't expect to lose the weight in a week, 2 weeks. You know, it's not going to happen that way. Make sure that you just stop comparing yourself with everybody else. Stop weighing yourself every single day. That's the worst thing that you could possibly do. You're setting up yourself for failure if you're weighing yourself every single day. Especially as women, our bodies go through so much changes, you know, between our menstrual cycles and postmenopausal. We've got all kinds of things going against us. So despite how fantastic you feel, because you're not seeing the number change on the scale, it's going to discourage you from doing that. And I don't want you to do that. So if at all possible, hide your scale, only measure or weigh yourself once a week. That's what I did for the entire length of my journey. Every Friday morning after I went to the restroom, I meassured and weighed myself, and I kept it in my journal. So if I would recommend you do that. Don't weigh yourself every day, because our hormones are differently. Our water retention is different, especially during our times of our cycles. I never weighed myself during the times of my cycle. And if I did, I didn't blame it because I gained an ounce or a pound because of that. It was because of the water retention. So keep those things in mind. And another reason why I'm asking you to be patient is you're completely switching your body from its original fuel source, which is glucose. Now your body's taking time to process. You're eating this healthier food, the healthier fats, to be able to switch your body from glucose running to fat burning, fat as fuel. And that's in essence what we want to do with keto. We wanted to use the fat as fuel, and usually from our bodies is what we want. So just be patient. Your body's going through a big transition. It's going to take a little bit time to get used to. And this is why I stress that word consistency so much. If you're doing good all week and then you have a bad weekend and then you go back again on Monday, your body is trying to acclimate to which fuel source you want your body to run off of. So the longer you stay consistent, eating clean, then your body becomes more regulated and it knows what to do. So this is why I personally never cheated. I never rewarded myself with food, and I never snacked, but that's just what worked for me, you know. Be patient and just think about it. Every time you want to have something you're not supposed to for now, you know, think of what your body's going to do. It's going to go back to running on carbs and glucose, and then when you decide to eat correctly again, then it's going to switch from glucose fuel into fat as fuel, burn fat as fuel. So keep that in mind. It's super, super, super important, and I think a lot of us forget that. And it's like I said before, it's not that you're not going to have these foods ever again in your life. It's just not at this moment. Not while you're trying to change fuel sources within your body, and not while you're trying to get on track and do the right thing. Absolutely, if you want to go out and have a piece of cake later on, go right ahead, you know, but remember the consequences. Every time you get yourself out of ketosis, it's going to take you a little bit longer every time to get back on. So keep that in mind. It's better to stay consistent than starting over and over and over and over again. You know, and the fifth thing, as far as one of the big keto mistakes is hidden carbs, you know, and when I say hidden carbs, I mean in the form of vegetables. And like I said yesterday, you know, just because it's keto friendly doesn't mean you're going to go all out and eat everything you want on it. You have to be careful, and this is where measuring your vegetables is a little bit crucial. Actually, it is crucial, not a little bit, it's very crucial. Because if you're consuming, broccoli's got carbs in it, you know, you're not gonna eat a whole head of broccoli or a whole bunch of broccoli all, you know, the whole time because it's healthy and it's keto, but it does contain a lot of carbs. And as I mentioned before, carbs equals sugars, which means your body will switch fuel sources. So if you're eating them in the correct amounts, it's not gonna affect it. And again, reading your food labels. A big thing. Be aware of the carbs that you're consuming. Just be aware of it. Read your labels. You know, if it sounds great on the cover, but you look on the back and it has 26 grams of carbs, ditch it. And I'm telling you right now, the 20 to 25% carbs comes in those keto bars, those Slim Fast bars. Just be very leery, be very careful. That's all I have to say. So those are my top 5 keto mistakes that I've come to, you know, learn as I've done my process and studied a little bit, and just going from what self-experience, what I've noticed for myself. And I know these are questions that come up quite often. So just remember those 5 things. You know, I'll go over them, recap them really quickly. Again, I have to refer to my notes because I have so many things I want to say, and I have to break them down in small increments where it's able for you guys to understand and just digest it a little bit. So my top 5 keto mistakes: 1 is you're not having enough electrolytes. 2, you're not eating enough healthy fat. 3, you're eating too much protein. 4, you're not being patient. And 5, the hidden carbs. Those are my top 5 mistakes that people have with keto. Drink your water, drink your water, drink your water. I cannot stress that enough. By you keeping track of these 5 things, if you're at a stall somewhere, then you know more or less what you're doing. If you're getting those leg cramps, it's because there's not enough electrolytes in your body. Being that we don't have I don't eat bananas, that's where I would get my potassium, you know, so I ended up using potassium supplements. So if you didn't catch this video from the beginning, it will be saved to the group. Feel free to play it back later, refresh on all those things. Thank you for watching. My names aren't popping up on my screen, I don't know why, but thank you all very much. I'll be looking forward to seeing you guys really soon. Have a fabulous weekend. Bye.